Hi there, this is your girl Star by Nick. So on today's video, I'll be showing you how to draft a bustier. So if this is what you're interested in, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, and turn your notification bell to get a notification when I post something new. So here I have my pattern paper and folder, and I'll be making use of my cord rule, my marker, and my pencil, of course with a tape. So if you're looking forward to the sewing process of this, you can check it out on our channel as we've already uploaded them. So let's get right into it. So here I'm trying to measure out my half length. My half length is 15, but I'll be adding half inch, which is 15 and a half, right? So there I'll be marking out my armhole point, which is 8, and my bust point, which is 10, then the under bust point, which is 13. So what I'll be doing next is to get my rule and mark a straight line across all points I just made earlier, so it can be visible. So here, after marking out these lines, the next thing I want to do is to label this line, right? So here we have the bust point, we have the under bust point, we have the armhole, and lastly we have the waist line, right? So the next thing I want to do is to divide my shoulder measurement, which is 16, and after dividing it by 2, it will give me 8, right? So I'll go ahead to divide that, and I'll be placing 8 on my pattern paper. So I went ahead to make a point, and I used my straight rule to connect the dots together. The next thing is to create our armhole curve. So you divide your shoulder line by 2, come in by ½ inch, then you go below by 1 inch for the shoulder slope that's at the top of this line. So what I'll be doing next is to get my cord rule, and I'll be connecting these dots that I made earlier together, right? So this is me connecting it. Just look carefully so you can see what I'm doing. Then I'll create the shoulder slope from that point. But before creating the shoulder slope, I marked out my neck measurement, which is I went in by 3 inch and I came down by 3 inches. So I'll connect these dots together, then after which I would connect my shoulder slope to the 1 inch point I created earlier. So this is what we have. This is what your basic body should look like, right? This is what your basic body should look like. So the next thing now is to go over to create the bustier. So the bustier, the nipple circumference I'm working with is 7.5, but I'll be marking a total of 4 inches across this line, that's across the lines. Then I'll be connecting them with a straight rule. So the next thing I want to do is on the waistline, I went in by 1 inch and I came out by 1 inch, and I'll repeat same on the under bust line, going in by 1 inch and coming out by 1 inch. Then I'll connect these lines together, that is from the waistline to the under bust line. So after this, what I'll be doing next is to go over to the bust point. So I'll just take my rule and come down by ½ inch, right? Then I'll connect these dots together from the ½ inch to the under bust line, rather, just like you see me doing like this. You create a little bit of a curve just like that. So please know how to place your cord rule to get that curve. So the next thing I want to do is to go over to the armhole line. I'll be extending this line to the upper side a little bit. Then I will come in by 0.6 inches. Then I'll come out by ½ inch on the other side. So what I'll be doing is to use a curvy slant to connect these dots together. So I felt it was too much, so I was just trying to remark the point properly. So I'll just use my cord rule to create a little bit curve out of there, just like you see me doing like this. So I just corrected that 0.6 inches into ½ inch, right? So the next thing I'll be doing now is to come down by 1 inch from the armhole line. This is to create my sweetheart neckline. Then from the armhole line, I'll be going up by 2.5 inch, or you might decide to go by 3, but 2.5 is okay for me. So I'll just use my cord rule to create a curve, more like a sweetheart neckline kind of curve, right? So this is what I have. The next thing is just to use my pencil and extend the bustier lines, right? Just like you see me doing like this. So this is all for a bustier. So if you're looking forward to draft a pretty bustier, this is what you should have, right? So the next thing is I went on the bust line and I came down by 1 inch, and that will serve as our bust dart, right? So all these places you see me cancelling is the place we would not be needing. That means we'll be cutting them out. So then again, this is what a properly drafted bustier should be looking like. As you can see, the curves are on point and everything. This is what makes your bustier to sit perfectly. If you can get it perfectly during the drafting process, then definitely the sewing process shouldn't be that much difficult, right? So the next thing is to give your bustier shape. So I'm trying to replace what I took out, which is 1 inch. I'll be replacing that on the bust line since we already created our bust measurement earlier. So on the bust line, I'll be implicating what I have on the bust line on that same line. Then on the waistline, I'll be dividing my waist measurement into 4. That is 26 into 4, and it will give me 6.5. So there 6.5. I would replace what I took out, which is 2 inch. I'll be replacing it. Then I'll add my sewing allowance, right, which is 2 inches. So please, anything you take out while creating your bustier, please make sure to replace them. That is what makes everything complete. You don't have to have a missing seam allowance and the rest of you. So if it's even possible, you can make your seam allowances to be 3 inches. Then when you're done joining, you can take your actual seam allowance and cut off the rest. So here I'm trying to cut out the parts we will not be needing and preserving the parts we'll be needing. So here you just chop. Please look closely so you'll see what to cut out and what we're going to be using, right? So there you take your time to do this. You don't have to rush, right? We're not going anywhere. We want this to come out perfectly when we're done. So I hope you're enjoying this tutorial so far, and please, if you're yet to follow us, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, and turn your notification bell to get a notification when we post something new. And you can go through our previous videos so to check out what a tutorial you might be needing, so you can go through them. So yes, for the board that you just slash it and then you'll be covering it just like you see me doing, like that, right? You just use your pins to hold them down if you do not have a tape. I actually don't know where my tape is, so I just use the pin to hold down everything just like you see me doing, like that. Then the next thing is just to reshape any crooked path there. So this is what our front bustier is looking like already. You can see how perfect it came out. So the next thing is to draft the back pattern using this front piece, right? Or you can create a whole different pattern for the back piece. So I'll try to open this up to show you how this will sit when you're about to sew them together, right? So that's what it looked like. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to draft out the back piece of the dress. So I'll get a pattern paper on fold again. Then usually you might want to just draft the back piece differently, but here's what I usually do. I take the front piece and I make sure that the bustier part I created is on each other, while the lines at the under bust and the waist point is connecting together. Like, look closely, you see what I'm doing. So I'll just trace everything out, but the only difference is that the back piece wouldn't be having the sweetheart neckline that the front piece had. It would just be straight ahead, right? So if you look closely, you see what I'm doing. Make sure to give your 2-inch zip allowance before doing this. Just watch closely, you see what I'm doing. So this is the simplest way to create your back piece, right? Or you can just draft it from the very beginning. So the next thing I'll be doing is, since I've gotten the half part of this back piece, the next thing I'll be doing is to take the yoke of the front piece and I'll use that to create the yoke of the back piece. And the next thing I want to do is just to also leave a 2-inch allowance for the zipper, and then on the next side I'll just mark what I have there by the width, and I'll come down by 2-inch, right? I'll connect these dots together and I'll just slash open the zip side and cut out the neck area. So this is what we have. So I'll just bring it to the back pattern, and then I would correspond the shoulder line together, just like you see me doing. So the next thing I want to create is the zipper bulge to take it away. So I'll be going up by 2-inch on the center part, that's the zipper area. Then some other people would want to go in by 1/2 or 1 inch in between the lines. That's at the armhole point. That's if you're creating a gown with no half length. So but this gown has an half length, that's why I made use of the 2-inch, going up by 2-inch on the zipper area, and then connecting it to the side seams and cutting it away. So this is the front piece and here's the back piece. So that will be all today on drafting a bustier. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.